As an artist, you don't necessarily feel the right thing to do is put words in the mouth of the viewer. It's up to everybody themselves to experience art and music and visual art and all else that is in this space and come to their own conclusions. And the title, I feel, is a branch in some respects to say there's no other word for it, because this doesn't quite fit into any existing genre of art.
I've worked with Ailís a couple of times before, we've collaborated, and I know that she's very interested in the meeting points between sound and text and music and visuals. So when she asked me to be part of this, obviously I jumped at the chance. The visual work that you can see in here, the sculptures, are heads. They appear to be floating in the space, and they are anchored by red lines through the eyes that you can see. So these heads are actually based on art historical images. I'm not going to say who the person is, but it's all the same person as he's been represented throughout history.
This piece came about through my exposure to the work of Pádraig Fiach, the Belfast poet who passed away early last year, who I feel is an extraordinary writer. Once I immersed myself in more of his poetry, more of his writing, interviews, I started to get a sense of what I wanted this thing to look like. What it is some sort of reflection on tradition. Tradition in terms of art, tradition in terms of music. So as a composer, my background is in classical music. And for this piece, I wanted to work with traditional musicians. We have 6 musicians, which you can hear clearly on the installation. 3 are classical musicians and 3 are traditional musicians.
You can see that this is all men, and it looks like different men, but actually it's all facets of the same personality. And in thinking about how that actually works with the music, well, obviously all the different sounds that Ailís has written, all the different notes, each musician plays individually, but they kind of have to come together as one person, all having their own distinct personality. It really made me focus about something that I've never done with my work before, which is thinking about mood as a kind of material, which in a way I think for composers that's always part of what they do, but it's not something in the visual world that we tend to talk about. We tend to talk about material and form and shape and colour, etc. But mood doesn't come into it so much, especially when you're making sculpture, I suppose. But obviously, as soon as you enter this room, you feel a mood immediately. And as you walk around it and see the different faces, you get a sense of all those different moods.
Whose tradition is traditional music? My training is in Western classical music. Does that mean I can't have a voice in traditional music? I'm an artist, I'm a musician and a composer, so these things all melt together as one within the human being. But how it comes back out, especially in the case for work like this, is, I hope, rich in metaphor, which is very important, and expression about humanity and the different faces of humanity.